International Business Society. The International Business Society is a student driven association that works relentlessly to combine traditional academic learning with truly global perspectives. We strive to expand students' knowledge by keeping them up to date on international news, events, and trends. Furthermore, IBS provides students with opportunities to engage with industry leaders and experts, as well as students from all around the world. Today we have with us Dr. Satyendra Kumar Upadhyay, Head of International Relations of Somaiya Vidya Vihar, and Assistant Professor at General Management Department. We are also glad to have among us Dr. Brajesh Bolia, Chairperson of IBS. He is professional in marketing experience of working in higher education industry as well as the corporate sector. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Briefing you all about the event, the Exchange Students Interactive Session is a chance for all of us to interact with the students who had the opportunity to attend universities abroad as part of our student exchange program. They'll be talking about their experiences studying abroad as well as resolving any doubts you may have regarding the selection process. Joining with us are the students Raghav Datta, who went to UCLL Belgium, Shashwat Tiwari, who went to University of Applied Sciences, Austria, Bhavika Mehta, who is currently studying at St. Martin University, USA, Shubhanshu Singh, who went to DHBW, Germany, and Juliet Bhandari, who will be going to DHBW, Germany. We are delighted to have you all of us with us today and providing insights to the juniors. We request the audience to post their questions, if any, in the chat box. Now, we'll be starting the event with a few words from Dr. Satyendra Kumar Upadhyay. So you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, IBS team, for organizing this one, and it's very important for everyone in today's world, to be well acquainted about what is going around the world, especially in terms of the business is concerned. When we enter in the corporate world, uh, we don't know who my next colleague is, where he's from which culture, from which corner of the world, So it's very important to have the experience of international culture at least, and the most importantly, how the cross cultural communication works, because there is all these are the soft skill which is uh, usually you can experience when you are on the land of that particular country, you know. So I personally believe, because I have been also exchange student, foreign student in the abroad. So I think, like, for a student is concerned, when they reach, or when some of you have already reached, I think I would like to listen, uh, especially the first cultural shock, especially the first day, first week, and first month, and the experience from first day, first week, first month, first year, and then you year on year experience you have, it changed drastically about that. And that over the period of time, it make you very competent in the globalized world. And there is a scientific research also says, international exposure help a talent or young or anyone to for cognitive learning. And it is also, research says, the multiple cultural experience give you more, uh, better problem solving skill set. It give you the skill development about that. So a reason why it happens, because when we communicate with the various culture, when experience with the culture, we start looking at the problem from different angle. So our perception change when we experience with the people with the different countries. So this one of the skill what I think, like, it make at least it helped me a lot in my professional world, like in the business corporate sector, and still even I am in the academic field, but it is still helps. So and another, I think, being a student, initially you don't know how to experience the study abroad. When you go through from end to end, I think that another things I would like to listen to you. It itself process itself help you a lot to be more mentally strong and process oriented about that. So with this, wish you all the best, and I would like to listen, and probably I will have few questions. Those who has been already landed in the partner university, and those who just completed the visa appointment, I guess, and a few are in the process to fly actually. So thank you, and wish you all the best, everyone.
Thank you, sir. So let's start the event with a question for Raghav Datta, who went to UCLL, Belgium. We would like to understand what was your experience at UCLL and what made you choose that university specifically.
Great. Thank you, Somaiya. So first of all, I'm not in UCLL Belgium. I'm currently in India. So about myself, I'm doing MBA, IMC at KJ Somaiya 2023 batch, and I'm still in India. I'll be traveling to Belgium for an exchange semester at UCLL in February. Obviously, terms and condition apply that the COVID situation does not get out of control. So yeah, so I always wanted to study abroad, but due to some circumstances, I never got a chance to do so. And MBA probably being the last degree I would pursue. So student exchange was the last chance I would get to get the same exposure as studying abroad. So that is why I opted for the program. Coming to why I chose UCLL Belgium. Okay, so for, USA was getting out of budget for me, and in Europe you can travel to any country. So I was indifferent in choosing the country. Plus, the colleges offered by KJ Somaiya there all have similar rankings. Particularly, I chose UCLL because Satyendra sir is in talks with the college there to get internships even for 2 or 3 weeks. So that is why I chose that program. Coming to the process, at first I was very clueless as to how to go about things. But it turns out it's a very simple and smooth process. Once your nomination is filled with the university, they guide you through everything, almost everything with the mails. They send you mails with proper guidance. So with accommodation and everything, they guide you through everything. And visa is to be done from our end only, and which won't be an issue. Uh, yes. So again, as I haven't been there yet, I don't have much to share yet. Very excited to be there. And once I come back, I hope I can share more.
Thank you, Raghav. A open question for our speakers. What were the criteria that were used for your selection in the exchange program? If anyone wants to take up on it. Juliet Bhandari, would you like to go ahead?
Hello, I couldn't hear you for a minute. Could you repeat that for me if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I was asking what were the criteria that you were evaluated on for your selection in the exchange program?
Most important, I suppose, is our commitment towards the exchange program, because many people do back out. They don't plan it properly, and given the various conditions that we have as academically also, I'm going in my last trimester. So one of the situation that I faced was that I am supposed to join my company, and there's a possibility that it'll call me earlier. So we should consider all these situations and should be knowledgeable enough and well researched about why you want to go there and where you want to go. This would be helpful. And seeing your commitment is what really helps you getting in.
Thank you, Juliet. Shashwat Tiwari, we would like to know what was your experience in the student exchange program, and what advice would you like to give to our students who are interested in the same?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share our learnings on this platform. So I went to the university called University of Applied Sciences. It's in Steyr. It's in Austria. I'm a student of 1921 batch, PGA. So I went in the year 2020, one of the most critical years. So it was So the reason I chose University of Applied Sciences was because of its geographical location. It's in Central Europe, and a lot of countries were accessible from there. So the intent was to study and travel. Of course, COVID conditions had some constraints, but yeah, that was the reason. And it's a very good location to go for. I was in Steyr, in 150 kilometers north of Vienna. Um, One of the best things about the academic part in Europe was that you have the opportunity to choose your own subjects and make your own timetable. So that is something very, very valuable. And I think all the people who are going there, if you have the opportunity, then make the most of it, because the subjects chosen gives you a lot of insight into understanding different aspects of management and team building and global perspective. I did an internship there with a company called Cropify, which were into vertical farming, and it was a very good experience because I got to interact with a lot of local people and with the farmers, because the vertical farming aspect, the founder was exploring, and I helped him with that. I traveled a lot around the city, Vienna and Steyr, to understand it. Um, Before going there, one of the things is that make sure the culture, as Satin sir talked about earlier, that the culture, make sure you are aware of it. Because I remember that when we first landed, it was a Saturday night, and Sundays are like ghost town in Austria. It's like no one you will see on Sunday, which is quite contrary to India. So make sure that you are in alignment with such aspects and such points, so that you are at more at ease, because already you are out of the country. And I'd like to talk about one more thing. So there was a subject called business entry models, which we were supposed to present our own ideas, business ideas, and the teachers, the professors were so supportive that when I came back to India, they helped me to actually conduct that startup. So that way, if you have any opportunities in that manner, then make the most of it. And overall, the experience was really good. A lot of people from a lot of countries were there. So yes, it all in all, it's a very memorable memory for me. So thank you.
Somya, here I would like to add one thing on the Shashwat. We are in talk with that University of Applied Sciences Austria Steyr campus, and they remember Shashwat very well when there is a Professor Andreas over there, and we are inviting him for a guest lecture for us cross-cultural communication. Probably by next month, you guys will able to listen him. And and immediately himself he said like yes, Shashwat was there and he was very keen about the startup and all those. So you see this kind of impression you guys leave, and even you come back, your memories are there with them also, not only with you also. So this is a very interesting part of that. So thank you, Shashwat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to know that they remember me. I'm still in touch with one of the professors there. So good to know that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shashwat. Um, I like to ask Shobhanshu regarding what were the preparation that you did for going before the exchange program. What were the preparation that you had so that you will be able to be comfortable in the exchange program and learn a lot?
Actually, I went to DHBW Germany in the year 2020. As Shashwat mentioned, it was one of the critical years where, first time COVID had come to the entire world and no one had any clue about what you should do. So there was a certain preparation that you had to do post going to Germany, because no one was knowing about it. So that is a separate thing. But just to answer your question, that what you need to do to go to Germany is something you have to understand with respect to that particular country. So say, for example, just to start off, I can say you should watch some YouTube videos where lots of Indians who have gone to Germany, who have gone for their MS, so they have lived there for 2 years, or they have, they are living for 5 years after their academic, they have joined there. So you can listen to their videos, you can get a lot of insight as to, as an Indian, what are the things that you need. Specifically, say for example, small things like a universal charger, because the sockets which are used here is not which is used in Germany or in Europe. It's a very different thing. So if you have your own personal laptop, you won't be able to use those sockets if you don't have a universal charger. Similarly, small things like, say for example, there everyone does their own work. There are no maids or servants who are like in India who will do. So you'll have to cook for your own. So small things like a cup of Maggie or small little bit snacks, where if you are doing a lot of academic work or you are studying, so it will help, because those things you won't get there easily. because most of the things which goes there in Germany is very different from what you get in India. Say for example, 20 rupees Maggie you will get there maybe in 80 or 100 rupees, the same stuff, because it is going from India. So because of the import and export duty and all these things, it gets expensive there. So you don't want to end up spending more money just for these things. So even these small things, so you should take care. Next, maybe what you can do is, if you're studying for 6 months, so if you can make a 6 month plan as to what will I do every 1 month. So if you have something in that in your mind, that if I'm, because it is something that you won't get every time in your life, because if you're going for in Germany for 6 months, maybe if someone goes to on site, or if someone goes again, then they can go. But or if you're going on a holiday, you'll maximum go for 12 days or 14 days or maximum 3 weeks. But if you're going for 6 months just to study, so you'll get ample of time to explore many things. So if you'll have a 6 month plan as to okay, for the first month what I'm going to do, what in the second month what I'm going to do. So if you have a 6 month plan as to what particular aspects I'm going to learn about, maybe academic, maybe cross-cultural experience, maybe how do I know about the international exposure, how do the multinational companies deal there. So you'll get a lot of exposure in that sense, and then you'll have a plan, so you'll be concentrated in that plan for that 1 month. So that will give you an overall view of what is the country like, and how you're supposed to be there in that country. So that's how you should prepare if you're going to that country, especially if you're going from India, because the culture and everything, the weather, everything is very different. Just to give you an example, when you are in Mumbai, the temperature is somewhere around 20 degrees or something. And when I landed in March in Germany, at that time it was somewhere around 2 degrees or 3 degrees with cold, chilly wind blowing there. And you don't have those kinds of winter wears that you get in Germany. So imagine if you're landing you're going and boarding a flight is 20 degrees, but you're landing, it is 3 degrees. So that complete change in atmosphere and the air, the climate is very different. So overall, that's how you should prepare.
Thank you, Shubhanshu, for the insight. I'm sure that when we go for foreign trips and all, there are lots of documentation that is needed to be done. And you guys must have also faced the same for your student exchange program. So I like to ask Bhavika, how was her experience and what all she needed to do for the same?
So document wise, I think your passport and your DS-2019. So in USA, the document is DS-2019, which is a letter that your university issues you that you're coming and studying here. Similarly, for whichever college you're going to go to, they're going to send out a letter of acceptance. You have to carry that and your visa and supporting documents to the visa. Your passport, your visa, your vaccination card, and supporting documents to the visa are all that you need. Just make sure you don't lose them, and don't freak out if you do, because there are provisions for everything. Just till the time you board into the plane and reach the country, just keep them safe. And try to keep them with you all the time. Apart from that, it's not as much as scary as people make it. So just be calm, and it's gonna happen. For exchange programs especially, the visa process is very smooth. They do not deny a visa because you're going for a short period of time and you are already enrolled in a college in India. So no reason to deny the visa. So that's pretty simple. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhavika. So I like to ask Shashwat, what exactly a student should look for in a foreign university for the experiences and the cultural shock they get. For example, how they should actually go about it and process the same.
Yeah, so cultural shocks are a natural, because I mean, if you're going outside your country, it's quite normal that things are very different there. Weather is one condition, as mentioned. It's one condition one has to be very much aware of. Can you repeat the another thing? I mean, the question, I couldn't understand the first part of it.
I was asking how you dealt with the cultural shock and and how you went about it.
So, see, so for the first week, I was just reminding myself that okay, we are in Europe, because I couldn't believe. So yeah, cultural shocks are there. language constraint is there. So if you can learn something, suppose if you're going to Germany or Austria, Central Europe, anywhere, try to learn some German words, because that will help you a lot, because general public do not speak in English at all. So that would be very helpful. Secondly, try to understand that how like that country in general, as I mentioned earlier, Sundays are like ghost town. I mean, you will not find any one person in the city, and which is very contrary to India, because a lot of activity happens on Sunday. So be prepared mentally for that, because it may come as a depression, because you're already so far from your home and you have no one you see around and there's no activity, which was quite depressing for me personally. So yeah, we got used to it. I had other buddy with me as well, and they always assign you a local buddy, which will be there, help you a lot. So get in connect with them. And study wise, one of the best thing like academically is that they make you write a lot. Of course, this is quite I mean different from the topic, but I just wanted to mention it. So they make you write a lot of essays, which is a very good thing. So make sure you do not copy them, you actually put in original ideas, so because they'll check in obviously. So make sure that you write as much as possible, because I remember that my time there, it was very new to me that I had to write so much, because even in India we do not write so much, we just try to, but they make you write about global perspectives, which is a very good thing, which is one of the inherent part of student exchange program. So make the most of it. So all in all, yes, cultural shocks are there, but you will get used to it within a week or so. And um, there are a lot of people from a lot of nationalities. So it becomes a very inherent and very organic that you become a team player out of, because you have to be, because you know there are people from Mexico who do not speak English so well. Then there are people from America who just keep talking in English, and which is very contrary to I mean someone from Africa, Zimbabwe, like they do not, or French people for that matter. So that struggles, daily struggles with language, teaches you a lot to become a team player, because you are making so many presentations and so much of writing stuff going on. So yes, it helps you a lot to become an organized team player very organically. You do not even have to pressurize yourself, because you know that the other person will not understand anything unless we communicate in English well. So that way a lot of changes comes in. I think it was beneficial in that manner. So yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashwat. One major point that I saw that there was a language barrier in your experience as well. And Shubhanshu also went to DHBW Germany. So you must have also faced quite many hurdles in your studying there. Can you share your experience regarding that?
Okay. So Austria is majorly a German speaking country, and in my engineering I had learned German, so it helped me a bit just to get in alignment, like with the culture of the country. But the more you travel, because the internship which I did, I had to travel a lot around that city. I might meet a lot of farmers, which are like typical local speakers. So yes, so I had to always have someone who would, either I use Google Translator just to understand things, very practical. You'll find it very useful once you're out of the country, or I had to have someone who would understand German. So yes, it was a barrier. It was a barrier for me as I talked to a lot of people. And but the thing is that tech, digital, like Google Translator helped me a lot. It helped me to understand things better. So I do not think that it will be a major issue once you are there. But yes, initial days will be a struggle, because you are also absorbing the new culture. So but with time there will be a proper alignment. So yes, but make sure you have Google Translator there, because um, I mean, you will have your buddy and everything, but many a times you will be on your own. So just make sure that some things you're equipped with. So that way, yes, it would be, smooth towards after the first week. Thank you.
Just to add to Shashwat's point, their life is very different. So here, if you say, for example, if you have to go out, you just book an Ola or Uber, and then you reach that particular place. But there you don't have a public transport such as Ola, because you have, but they are so expensive, because as a student you won't be using it. So you have to depend on the public transports, the trains and all, the trams and all. So there it's very essential for you to learn German, because all the places are written in German. So if you're going somewhere, you have to use Google Translation here, and you have to pin down Google Maps to understand, because in India, Google Maps don't have that precise information, whereas in Germany, everywhere it's very precise. Every street is named, every corner is named with a number. So, and that particular information is there on the Google Map. So if you have that in you, if you know, so like for example, Strasse is a street known as German. So you have to know these things, to have yourself. Otherwise, you will end up wasting a lot of time in these things, searching for places, searching for the right place, searching for the right restaurant if you're going to somewhere place. So the language always helps you to navigate easily.
Yeah, and just to add to his point, internet is very expensive there. So I used to pay 10 euros for 8 GB of internet, which was very, because there's no Geo there. So make sure you make the most of it. It's a very practical problem. So it's very expensive. And yes, you have to travel a lot on your feet also, because there's no cab service as such. There are a lot of trams going in and around. So that way, it was a shock, because India, like, internet is anything. So in Europe, internet is very, very expensive. So that way, I used to use it very judiciously. That's why, that would be just keep in mind.
Yes, we'll surely keep that in mind. I have a question for Raghav, that considering the current situation and we don't know when the pandemic will end, what were your drivers that made you realize that you need to go for the student exchange program? What encouraged you to go for the student exchange program?
I think we would like to know this thought from the three of them, Bhavika and Juliet
Yeah.
and Raghav. So it would be nice if you could rate your, share your experiences on that.
I think Raghav's facing some internet issues because he's in a hill station and the weather is not right there. I think I'll start and then he can take over. The biggest driver, I think, for both Raghav and I, because we're classmates and we've discussed before going, was the fact that KJ hasn't, it hasn't opened up physically yet. We're studying online. And since both of us are also from Delhi University, and the last 1.5 years of our undergrad, and then now 1 year of our postgrad has been online, it was a little frustrating to just sit at home and not go out at all. Especially in Delhi, the cases were bad in the second wave. So I think we needed a break. And thus, I think the entire idea of going abroad and also getting the global exposure that, it's also a post-grad in last 2 years of, I think, higher education. So the last chance to go abroad and get the global exposure as students. So that was the biggest driver for me, getting a classroom experience that I was missing, and also just the global exposure. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhavika. Juliet, you can go ahead.
For me also, it's kind of similar that the lectures are happening there offline. So I would be able to get classroom presence along with, people from different country would be present there. And that kind of exposure is what I'm expecting. And, you can always travel for work to a certain place, or just travel as a tourist. But then learning about the education system of a different country and expand, like, learning how to handle everything would be very helpful is what I thought. And COVID cases, yes, COVID is something we have to live with right now. So there are many benefits that are possible still along with COVID. So I decided that I should go ahead with this.
Thank you, Juliet. An open question for all. How much value does foreign exchange program add to your CV, and what was your personal development through it? Bhavika, would you like to go ahead?
So as per the CV thing, my inclination is not only building the CV. It's more into again finding out cultures. So I've had a lot of friends who went abroad, and through my entire life I've seen so many people moving to Canada, especially because I live in north of India. Everybody just likes to go to Canada and live there forever. Yeah, so I used to see them, and they would always hang around people who were from India. So all the Punjabis living with the Punjabis, the Marwadis living with the Marwadis, and the Gujis living with the Gujis, right? So that's something which always pinched me. Why are you going abroad, spending a fortune, and living with the same people that you live with here? And I would tell them that if I ever go to abroad, I will pick a place where I do not find Indians, and I will live with as many, people of that culture as I could find. So to me, that's the biggest value, learning about new people and new cultures, because I'm in a place where there are barely any Indians. And I don't I used to always my English has been good, but I always watched movies with subtitles. So when I come here, I realize that I do not people do not come with subtitles, and I need to understand them, their accents. And I think one thing that I'm really going to take away is watching movies without subtitles. And also I landed I got 2 jobs here, which is more than most Americans in 2 weeks that I've been here. So that's pretty cool. That's what I'm taking from here. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhavika. Shubhanshu, I'd like to ask the same question, that how did the foreign exchange program add to your CV, and what was your personal development through it?
To answer that question, it was not that I was going to, Germany just to add a few pointers in the CV. Obviously, it was one of the things, because if you're going, and if you're after MBA, you're doing an MBA for 40 years, obviously this will add some value. But that was not one of the primary reasons. The primary reasons was, just for that international exposure. And since I was into international business, PGDM international business. So what my psyche was that if I want to learn about international business, what would be the better way to go to an international country which is very different from India, and then study there, and then kind of get that experience. So just to make you understand as to how that experience is different. So if you see in India, normally it's a service oriented country. Like everything is like services. Like you don't have Facebook being born in India, or Google or Microsoft. All our product based companies, all are outside India. We are the consumers. No, and in IT also we are the service providers. We don't make anything mostly. But if you go to Germany, there people mostly make. They are the producers, like Robert Bosch. Again, they're automobile parts manufacturer. You have lots of car manufacturing companies there, Mercedes and all, BMWs and all those things. So if you are going from a country which is service provider to a country which produces something, then the people there have that kind of a psyche. So the teachers and the professors who are teaching there, they have that psyche, and when they teach you from that perspective. So when you learn any subject in India, that subject is being taught by someone who has that service oriented mindset. So that understanding of any particular subject will be very different. So say for example, if you're learning social media marketing in India, it will be very different than if you're choosing a subject of social media marketing in Germany, and a German professor teaching a social media marketing, because for them they are promoting produce a product making company. So for them that would be very different. Whereas in India, they'll always teach you the how to deal with the social media marketing, how to what are the products, how to serve the customers, things like that. So this particular difference will it enhances you. Coming to the culture shock, it will be very different for various people. As Shashwat told you, Sunday is normally open, but one culture shock which you'll get in especially in all the Europe, which included in Germany, is that the tap water is like a normal water. So you can drink water from a wash basin's tap, which obviously you won't do in India. But in Germany, you can always drink water, because there's no concept of impure water or pure water. You are installing a water purifier. There's nothing like that. So that is a culture shock for you, but you can drink normally for any tap water. Anywhere you go in Germany, you can drink for any water available, which is not there in India. You have to be careful. Similarly, there was a group of South Korean people. So for them, there was a culture shock that they were not getting warm water in the faucet in the Western toilet, because for them in South Korea and Japan, they have warm water in the Western toilet also. Whereas, in Germany, you don't, or in Europe, you don't have that. You have cold water. You have warm water only in, the where you bath, where you take bath or something like that. So for different people, it's very different, and the culture shock of these things will be particularly different. So if you're going to that international atmosphere, so you'll have people, besides you studying a Mexican studying there, behind you'll have a Danish girl studying with you. Maybe you'll have a Spanish, or you have someone speaking Latin American or something like that. So that kind of atmosphere also teaches you many things. And if you have any discussion, they have a completely different mindset of their own, because they're coming from a different country. Their grooming is very different. So that whole learning will help you to deal with other situations in your life in a more better way, and you'll be a very different person when you'll come back from Germany to your own country after 6 months.
Thank you, Shubhanshu. So there's always one question that every interested student has. What are the expenses for the exchange program? And please let us know how we can manage our own finances. So I like to ask you, Shumanshu and Shashwat, how did you did it, and the expenses that the currently Bhavika and Raghav had to pay for that. Thank you.
So just to tell you the expenses, that is the most painful part. If you have to, everything is very hunky dory when you talk, but when you comes to expenses, you think a little, because this is something that your parents or someone is providing, is not your own. So coming to expenses, normally, if I can talk about Germany, normally the place where you live, I'm just converting everything into Indian currency, so it will be easier for everyone to understand. So normally your living their place, you'll be paying around somewhere around 40K per month, the place where you're living be. So, and then for food monthly, you'll be spending somewhere around 100 euros. It comes to around 8,000 rupees or something. So then 40 plus 8, then 50,000 is where your lodging and boarding and food goes. Then you can, as Shatwa told you, the internet is very expensive there. So you'll be paying around 1,500 for a 1 month pack, which is like 2 GB for the whole month. So 2 GB for the whole month in 1,200. It's not that 1.5 GB per day which you get in India. So combining everything, you can say in 60K per month, you'll be, and then you'll be spending a lot in travel. Obviously, you're going there, so you'll be trying out different stuff. You have different kind of cheese varieties there. You have different kinds of drinks available there. So you'll be trying this. So normally, you can say that you'll spend about 60K per month. So if you're going for 6 months, you'll be 60K into 6, which is like around 3.6 lakhs. And then, because if you're going to Germany, you're going to Europe, so you'll be spending someone to travel. You'll obviously going to different places. There are 20-30 countries there to visit, and obviously they don't require visa. You get a visa for all those countries, so always you'll be going on. So if you want to have a very constrained life there, like I don't want to only study, I want to only be in my room and nothing, so you'll be, and you can manage it by 3.54 lakhs I told you. But since you want to go and explore places, so you can add an additional 1 lakh maybe, depending upon how lavishly you want to travel. There are different classes where you can travel in Europe. The trains are also coming in different classes, and then the place where you stay also have different amount that you can spend on. So normally around 5 to 5.5, you can say maximum around 5.5 to 6 lakh. You can go to Europe, you can have your boarding and lodging, and you can visit the country, and you can have a very good life, and you can learn things, and you can come back to India. Somewhere between 5.5 to 6 lakh, you can have the expenses that you'll have to have spend if you want to go to Europe especially, or Germany for 6 months.
Yeah, so Shumanshu has figuratively covered most of the expenses. Just one thing, that cook your own food. You will be saving a lot on outside eating food. Like if you can do that, that will be a great thing to do, because you will be saving a lot on pizzas or eating outside, because that is quite expensive. So 10 euros, 20 euros every day. So that would be one thing. Secondly, if you're traveling in European Union, so people under the age of 26, they can have a card for which they have to pay a certain amount. Based on that card, you can travel at very cheap rates around in and around the country and in European Union. So make sure you have that card. I can't recall the name. Once I have it, I'll share it with you guys. That card enables students to travel quite cheaply. So, which is a good thing if you really want to travel. So these are the two things, and I mean, most of it would be around 5.5 lakhs. So yes.
The
Thank you,
US,
Shashi.
I'm so sorry. Please continue.
No, continue, please continue.
The United States, I think, is far more expensive. My entire trip is gonna be somewhere around 10 to 12 lakhs. That's because including my flight tickets and visa and everything, the flight tickets are itself very expensive, probably because of COVID. So my round trip was around 2.25 lakhs, and then my rent for the 4 months I'm here is around 3.15 lakhs. So somewhere around 3 lakhs. 5 lakhs is just me coming here and staying in this dorm. I have a single room in an apartment, so it is comparatively expensive as compared to dorm rooms. But the thing about this university is, if you have a dorm room, you have to buy a meal plan. A meal plan is basically the university's food, the cafe in the university, the cafe here, which again is very expensive. The lowest meal plan starts around 1 lakh rupees and goes up to 4 lakh rupees. I haven't opted for a meal plan. I cook my own food because I have an apartment, and it's expensive in the sense that food is expensive, but then shopping is very cheap. So I got a packet of basmati rice for I think $20, and I got a pair of Nike shoes for $20. That's the difference, a Nike in $20 in India is not possible. Yeah, it's one from Sarojini, a copy. You can't get a good pair of shoes in $20, but I cannot get a good quality rice cheaper than that. So the amount varies. I have put some amount for shopping because I know I'm going to get cheap stuff here, a good quality branded things at a very less price as compared to India. But I also know that food is expensive, so I'm figuring my way around food. I'm picking things that I know are good. So there are things that come very easily to me. I can get yogurt and that lasts me a week. I can get a good packet of bagels that lasts me a week. So just make sure what everybody eats there. I'm a vegetarian. I am having a hard time finding food. But I think it's only expensive. We can figure that out. It will happen. Tap water I cannot drink, as everybody here drinks tap water, but didn't suit me. So they have these big tankers like the bottles we have in India. They have it here also, and they're cheap. They're like for $3. So one $3 bottle lasts me for like 1.5 weeks, and that's pretty cool.
Thank you, Bhavika. Sir, Satyendra, so it seems that our students have question for you. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, so first question is, would there also be a global immersion program for 1 to 2 weeks anytime soon?
Yes, that was on our card, but only the things because of COVID, I'm little bit hesitant to launch that one, and the main reason is about that if we launch that one, and the student backed out, so there is issues. But if the students are available, at least around 15 to 20, for example, then we have two plan. One for the Germany is concerned, and one for the US, New Jersey, or maybe St. Martin, Seattle. So two immersion program is available, and probably by around the June. Uh, Something, but we need a minimum number of around 15 to 20. If that is available, we can execute it, but we are watching the COVID situation, as the airfare has increased pretty sarcastically, and then the cost of immersion program is going to be little high about that. Otherwise, we used to our aim was that around 1 to 1.5 lakh, for the Germany is concerned, for a week and including the airfare, and similarly about 2.5 lakh for the US. But look at the Bhavika is saying 2.5 just as far the airfare is concerned. So we are little bit in the watching stage, but a student if available, then we have the program. As I said, Germany and US in hand, we will be able to execute it.
Thank you, sir. So one more question. What's the timeline of application in our college and which department to approach for this application?
Yeah, that's a very important question. I think all of these guys, those who has been, they have been pretty determined from the day one, and that's why they are able to complete the like those Subanshu and other Shashwat and other students, those who has been already completed, and those especially Bhavika and other Juliet and Raghav. They have not mentioned, but I can tell for them, each of them, they have been very active from the day one. They wanted to go over there. So that is very important. Once you are mentally prepared, then rest of the things fall into place. So the process is concerned. Of course, we have formed after we become the university, Somaiya University. We are following the standard procedure. So there is a form 701, 707, which has to be filled by the student and get the signature by your director and also by me about that. Then we forward the nomination to the partner university, and once they approve, they accept the uh, student details, and then they issue the acceptance letter, and then your process is start, especially in terms of the applying for the visa. And visa is another very challenging things are there. You should not take it granted like you can get the visa very easily. There are, however, because the Somaiya is known college university in India, so usually we have good network with the consulate, so they know us also very well. So there is very less chances of rejection is concerned. So this is a plus point about that. But however, still there is a certain process. Are there like 60 to 90 days of kind of period is required for the consulate to issue the visa. So those things have to be kept in mind. So overall, at least you need, I think sooner the student they join, you need at least about 6 months of time preparation, at least minimum, from applying to flying over there. So this is a sort of the preparation is required. And another things always I connect the those who are interested potential student. I connect with the those who has been already there. So that is the best thing you learned from those experienced about that. And another important things to be taken care of, student, you need to check with your approval from program coordinator. If you cannot proceed further without approval of program coordinator, so first thing you have to reach out to that. And so you have to make sure your number of credits, like in 701 and 707, especially 707, their number of credit has to be, courses has to be mentioned, how many credits and courses you are taking, because we want to make sure your credit transfer is smooth, because you are supposed to appear for examination over there, and your all marks will be transferred over there. Uh, so that's the process about that. But we are there to help it out from end to end, and partner university will be also able to help you. And once this application process completed at our end, of course the main application process started by the partner university end. So you have to apply on their portal with the certain documents, all your passport and transcript details. You have to apply, upload over there. Certain things, I think this student will tell you about that. Like, you have to book the hostel over there or dorm over there. So those kind of, and insurance. So you need to all this step, but everything is very clear what you guys need to do that, and they will be able to help you each and every process. But yes, it takes time about that. This is not something like in 1 week you can finish it off. A lot of preparations are there, and we are there to help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we are open for Q&A session. You are free to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Actually, I want to ask a question to all of you guys, those who has been especially abroad, and or those who are including Bhavika, because you have already reached. You have talked about your experience, cultural shock, and all those kind of learning. But Could you please share your experience learning from the other student other than those countries? For example, you have been to Germany, of course, you are experiencing it, but I'm sure you must be having the classmate from other countries, non-German, maybe Korea and Brazil and all those kind of. So, what you guys has learned uh, from the student of other countries? Could you please share something like, because that is the value addition. You have been to Germany, but you are learning about Brazil, for example. You know, so can some of you guys share your experience?
Uh, just to answer sir's question, so yeah, I before this particular thing I mentioned, right, for like for the culture shock, the South Korean people, they had come, for them they complained that the faucet in the Western toilet doesn't have a hot the hot water. So, and for everyone around, even people in what Denmark, one was in Germany, they were like shocked. They're like, you don't get that, but they're like, no, in our country we have that. So especially in Japan and South Korea, you have hot water coming also from the Western toilet, which is not there in entire Europe, or even if you go to Singapore, it's not there. So that kind of understanding that you have, then when you talk to them, so for them, so there was also a kind of a game being played with different people, where it was asked, because everyone is coming from different countries. So on the first day, everyone is reaching, someone was reaching in 9:10, someone was reaching at 9:05. The program was supposed to start from 9 o'clock, someone was reaching at 9:20. So the first question was asked was, do you think if the program starts at 9 o'clock, then it's okay to come at 9:10? Is it fine? And everyone was grouped by a country, and they were asking, okay, so what do the Indians feel? What do the a Danish girl was, so what do you feel? So similarly, people, so Indians told that, they told that, yeah, it's not good, but generally we take it for granted. That's what the Indians said. The Germans said that no, it's even 9.00000.1 is not right. It's 9 means 9. Even 859 is not correct. 9 means 9. So that's how the German replied. Whereas, someone from Brazil replied, it's fine, right? 9, 10, 10 minutes, it's okay. That's not a problem. So then, even if you just a small thing, so when you realize that how different countries have different kind of a mindset, and then we were put into a group project in one of the subjects where different people were there. So when you discuss about those projects, right, so they have a different mindset coming into different things. So for example, IT, normally in IT, Indians are pretty good in technology and understanding stuff, whereas say someone who was coming from Spain, that girl was not that good, so it was very difficult for her to understand something. So when you explain her something, the kind of response that you get, you're not used to those responses. So as sir mentioned, your cognitive skills gets improved because you have to explain them in a different way, because if you are going to explain them how you're explaining in Indian, it is not going to work. Just to give an example, say for example, we were told that there was an email shared between a Chinese and a German on a business deal. So if Germans are very straightforward. What they say, they mean. It's not that you have to decode a hidden meaning or something like that. Whereas China is very high level. You have to decode it. So when there was a plan going on, so German presented the plan. So Chinese wrote that, yeah, it's good, but this could be done, something like that. But actually, it meant that it was horrible. But the German thought, okay, it's fine, because he didn't say like that. So he went through, he didn't do any changes. But then the Chinese came back. It's like, no, how can I go with that change? Not good. It's like, you didn't tell that it's not good. You told that it's good. You require some changes. Like, but that's what I mean. So the German's like, how do I know? You should write that it's horrible. You should write in the email that's horrible. I don't like it. So that's how the communication that you do is very important, because how you talk to an Indian normally to convey a message. If in an apartment, if you're living with 5 people, say someone who's from Bulgaria, if you're communicating in the same way, then that person might not get what you're trying to say. So you have to speak properly, that once you go to a washroom, please clean the washroom. Or if you're going to a kitchen, please ensure that the kitchen is in the proper state as you had when you had come to prepare something. So this whole experience of living in 6 months and talking to various people, understanding their psyche, so that multicultural communication, those things get developed, and you have your own perspective as to how you deal with different kinds of people. And then when you come to India also, it will help, because in India also there are people from different cultures and different backgrounds. So that whole experience helps you to understand people in a better way.
Yeah, exactly. That's brilliant experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhanshu. Sir, we are getting more questions regarding the program. So I like to share few of them. The first one is there specific scholarship for the exchange program?
Uh, in general, there is no scholarship for exchange program is concerned, but sometime in the Germany DHBW, they have the foundation, DHBW Foundation, and they offer the one or two scholarship to the student, and this happens once the student reach over there, and then depends upon the funding and country wise about that. So it is not very fixed, but only the DHBW sometimes they offer once the student they reach, and that is also based on the merit and all the. And when they ask for the recommendation, we ask our year program coordinator to recommend those who has been good performing the class, but that is the exceptional one. Otherwise, it is not there. Reason one, because they don't charge the tuition fee. This is a tuition fee waiver program, which is the huge cost is there because you have paid the fees over here. So that's why you are not going to pay fees to the partner university, and that is the you can say is a relaxation. Otherwise, there is no scholarship on that.
Thank you, sir. One more question. Do we have to pay the entire fee here at KJ, including the hostel and tuition fee for the time we go for exchange?
I think this is need to be checked with the administration level. I'm not able to comment on that exactly, but the fees, tuition fees, yes, you have to pay over here because and that's why you are not going to pay over there at partner university. So hostel part, I think need to check with your hostel. Shubhanshu, probably you can those guys who have been, you can tell.
Yeah, you don't need to pay the hostel fees actually. So like when you're leaving on, say, when I was leaving in March, so in February only you you are doing a checkout from the hostel, everything else, because you will be coming back in the next year. So if you're going on from March to August trimester, which is the third trimester or the sixth trimester, then you are ending an year, maybe the first year or the second year. So in the second year, if you're a first year, then if you're going on in the third trimester, obviously you're going next year, so your room, everything changes. So you kind of vacate the hostel, you vacate everything, you put whatever you require, you take it along, and you put everything in the luggage room. So you don't pay for the hostel fees because you're gonna pay there. So that's why I told the 40K that you pay monthly in Germany, so that's what you're gonna pay, and that you don't need to pay in India. So mostly you have once you go to Germany, you have to open a bank account, a German bank account. So there, and whatever money you are taking from an Indian bank account, that whole money you're gonna transfer to the German bank account, and there you don't have to pay it because they have a SEPA, a form where they auto debit your monthly rent on the first day of the next month. So automatically that 40,000 will get debited for those 6 months. So it's not that in India you have to pay it; it gets debited for the 6 months as you spend your days in Germany, or maybe for any exchange program.
Yeah. So all you need to have take the proper approval from the hostel, inform them well in advance, so that will be taken care of.
Thank you, sir. Now we are heading towards the conclusion of the event. We would like to ask if there are any concluding remarks from our speakers today. So we can start with Shubhanshu, with you.
I've spoken enough, but just to conclude, I would just say that I'll just point it out that as someone asked about the scholarship, so I was one of the fortunate one to get that scholarship. So I did get the scholarship once I went there in Germany in maybe the second month. I think in April I got that scholarship. So mostly that scholarship is around 1.5 lakhs that you get. So and when 1.5 lakh, you're gonna normally you can pay your rent. So mostly you can say that from the scholarship amount you can pay that 40K a month, that 6 month, around that you can pay. So if you get that, obviously you can save your a bit of money. So around, so what I told 5.5, maybe you can end up in 4. But just to conclude everything, so obviously it's a life-changing experience because you're not gonna get that experience of staying for 6 months. And also while you're working, there are work pressures. You might go to on-site from your corporate, but there are work pressure. You have to perform 9 to 6, you have to work, there will be work pressure, there will be deadlines and this and that. But when you're going as a student, it's nothing like that. You just have to study, and then in the evenings or on the weekends you can go and you can have your life. So it's very different than going, if you go while you're in your professional life. So just whoever is going, I would just suggest you that make the most of this opportunity. You're not gonna get that anytime soon, I can say. Maybe if you can go for a PhD or something, then you can get, but it's a life-changing opportunity. You'll learn various things. You'll be a different individual altogether when you come back. And just be ready to to deal with your insecurity. So you might be having insecurity that I hate changes, or I'm someone who doesn't like change, but there will be lots of changes. As soon as you go, there'll be so many changes that you'll have to deal with. So the more you are prepared to deal with your insecurities, you'll be better able to adapt yourself, and you'll be enjoy there. That's all from me.
Thank you, Shubhanshu. Shashwat, would you like to share concluding remarks?
Yeah. So the first thing which came to my mind was that explore as much as possible. Just don't just go there to party and just to explore what are your interests, because if you have a particular interest like I had for agri businesses, they are going to support you in and out. So make sure that that thing is utilized to its optimum. And in general, once you are out, you are all on your own, as mentioned by Shubhanshu. So you'll get to learn a lot of things about your own personality also. So yes, it's going to be a very good experience. If you get the opportunity, make sure you go, because nothing else will match to the kind of experience you'll get there. So that would be my concluding remark. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Shashwat.
just to add to Shashwat's point, I forgot to miss. So just he explored that in startup. If you want, you can also go and help your professor in some of the research work, because they'll have lots of opportunities. Because as an Indian, they always want to work with you to get your perspective in any project. So for me, I also worked with one of the professors in one of the projects in some of the research work that she was doing, and I helped her. And we also published that. So if you can, there was, and people from USA, everyone was working, corporate people also working there, and she liked my work. So I also got a LOR, that is a letter of recommendation, from that particular university professor. So if you can go and you can search all these things, maybe an internship or a research work, which will enhance your experience further.
Thank you. Bhavika, would you like to share?
Sure, yeah. So I think I would like to conclude with the fact that if you guys want to go, just go for it. It's a good experience. But before you go, just make sure all your credits are in place and you talk to all your teachers here and in the partner university 10 times clearly about your grades and your credits, because that is the most important thing. Everything else comes secondary. You will get food, you will get a place to stay, money will come back. Your degree has to be completed. So talk about that and pick your subjects before going, and just ensure that you find the subjects that you're looking for there. And that's something very important, because and that is one thing that really gets chaotic, because the education system in every country is different, and everybody has a different experience with the faculty and with the courses that are provided. For example, I am lucky that in my course I did find a few courses that aligned, but generally for MBA they have 4 or 5 courses in my university, and a lot of them are finance centric, and I don't have a finance background, right? I am a marketing student. So just make sure that you read all the subjects that are available, and there you don't only read it on the website, because the website will show you 15-20 subjects, but each semester there are only 4 or 5 that they offer. So call them up, ask them which will be the subjects that will be there, and pick those, pick the ones that align with your goals. And academics will not be an issue, because we are Americans, especially in America, they're a little lazy, the students, and also because it's convenient for them, and we're new, right? So we are going to give in more efforts than them. And especially for us in KJ, in one semester they teach us like what, 9 subjects, and here it's like 3 or 4 subjects, so it's pretty chill for us, right? So just figure out the credit system, rest it's all chill, right? And thank you so much, Satendra sir, for the opportunity, and to the entire IBS team.
Thank you, Bhavika. We'll get back to you, Juliet. I think Shivam has a question. Shivam, you can ask.
Yeah, I have a doubt. Like, I want to ask Satyendra sir. Sir, like, is there any program like for the senior batch right now? Like, because I think our batch is about to end because the senior, like, it will end in April. So, is there any program like, a short program like we can enroll for like right now?
Unfortunately, the semester exchange program won't be possible because they have the cycle of intake that is over, and and they are very peculiar about that. So that is out of question. And only the things left about the immersion program, a week immersion program, and I still can float it. If the student, as I said, we need around 15 to 20 students. If we get it, we'll be able to execute it. So it's still, and but most importantly, we have to wait and watch for the COVID situation. That's important, and the airfare and all those. So I'm not sure if the cost of the immersion program for a week, if it exceed more than 2 lakh, for example, I don't know how the intake will be there.
Sir, but that program will also be for juniors only, right? Because we'll be concluding the course by then, by April.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
but
sir.
it
Thank you.
is too early to
Yeah.
comment on that because the COVID, the way is changing, and we have to wait and watch about that. If anything is come across, we will update on that. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
So, sir, in the meantime, what we'll do, if anyone is interested from today's session, we'll collate their email IDs and let you know so that you have the database for it.
Yeah, sure. And one of my suggestion is also there for those who are going over there already reach. I think the partner university, they are very, very friendly, and better you blend with their culture and get across their department, and make the meet the people with the experts, not to just only link with that your program. And you have to be smart to build your network over there. And this is what I have learned maybe 2 decades back when I was foreign student. In my class, I had around 42 students from around 40 countries in my classmate. So, and that is for a year. This every day, something like I'm dealing with the 40 countries at a time, and we have around 700 foreigners together. So there is kind of mini world about that, and it is always better to mix with other students rather than your own country student. You do have your own country student, but you should learn it, and because all of you guys are smart enough to make the contact, and I'm sure those professors, scientists, or corporate guys, those who take the classes, they highly appreciate Indian talent. And once you reach out to them, build network, I'm sure you are going to get benefit out of that. So explore that one, all those network about that. I think that will pay you somewhere in your corporate life in the future. So this is just my personal piece of advice to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Juliet, would you like to share your concluding remarks?
Yeah, sure. I would like to say that do ask like all the possible questions when you're planning for your exchange semester. You can connect with all the people who have already gone. So Bhanshu was very helpful to me because I was also unaware of the requirement of blocked account. So there are very minute details which are required so that you can get knowledge from Satyendra sir is always there, and then you can get from the seniors who have traveled. So keep asking questions. They're very helpful, and this will smoothen the process of application and going over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet. And with this, we are concluding the event. On behalf of International Business Society of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management, I would like to extend a sincere gratitude to our speakers, Satyendra sir and Brajesh sir, for sparing time from their busy schedule and sharing their invaluable insights about the student exchange program. Thank you so much.
Great, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming here, especially the students who had gone outside and who were about to go outside. So, and great IBS team. to continue interactions and continue organizing events, right? And you can create a small cell also, I think, Satyendra sir ki guidance mein, to make it a POCs type of context. Ki haan, hamare paas aa jao, right? If you want
Sure,
something,
sir. Sure, sir.
and guide them to the right people.
Yes, yes. And feel free to share this recording also to them. At least they can get a reference of discussion also. And I'm sure, I think these guys can be a very good POC for the program as well. Thank you.
Great. So should we exit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.